OnlyFans horror story,
I
let's
was
go.
in my early 20s and was unfortunately unemployed. The stress of not having a
Relatable.
job while living with the obligation of having student loans, in addition to the monthly
House
payments
loan?
for my student housing.
Wait
always weighed
a
heavy
damn minute. The electric bill is only $10? That's not real at all.
on my shoulders. I was a student majoring within the medical field.
Oh, fuck.
So it was always inevitable that the majority of my time
she a
was
doctor?
delegated to schoolwork and applying for
She's a
jobs
doctor, isn't it?
online, as I was living off the funds I made from my last retail job.
Okay.
The quality of my life at this time was both extremely
Chinese
stressful
food?
and depressing, as I would literally live off eating crackers and cheap instant noodle packs. I would even go as far as to sleep hungry sometimes, just to save every
Fasting.
last dollar possible to help pay for my rent and school
This
funds.
sounds like me, yes.
I remember staying up
relatable.
late one night, as I had a biology exam coming up within a few
She's
days.
in the medical field.
I could recall being overwhelmed from the monotonous material I was drilling into my head, when I heard a loud knock on my door. Sarah? Sarah, can you answer the door? It's Charlie.
Charlie?
Hello? I know you're in there.
Who the fuck is this creep with like bald head? Her house bill and loan and electric bill was only $450. I know, right?
I heard you watching TV 5 minutes ago.
It's creepy.
Yes? What do you want, Charlie?
Who the hell
I
is
need
Charlie?
to talk to you. Can you please answer the door?
No. Oh,
Hey,
God.
Sarah. You know your rent is due,
Oh, it's
right?
a landlord.
I'll get it to you by tomorrow. I've just been a little flustered with school.
Don't
and-
worry. You can give it to me tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Charlie. You're a
To
lifesaver.
make it easier on you, I do take other forms of payment, you know.
I think I was right about him being a creep. Not because he was bald. He was giving the ick. You can give me from other form of payment. Wink, wink. And now she has to start on OnlyFans to pay rent, right?
Good.
I'm
I'll just
good.
pay you tomorrow.
What's wrong, Sarah?
Oh my God.
I'm just trying to help a pretty little girl like you out.
Ew!
Don't you want my help? Don't worry. It'll only take 5 minutes tops. We'll act like nothing.
It only take 5 minutes tops. In my opinion, it may just be a minute top from what you look like, but 5 minutes is kind of generous.
Nothing ever happened. Imagine not having to worry of paying a single bill
Ew!
again for just a measly 5 minutes of your time.
Only
Did
5
I ever
minutes.
tell you that you look just as beautiful as my daughter?
I said I'm good.
Excuse me? There are so many things wrong with that sentence. You look so pretty like my daughter.
You better pay me tomorrow, you little brat, or else you can get the hell out of my property.
Bitch, you
I've
bald.
always had unsettling vibes from my landlord the day I moved in here,
creepy.
but unfortunately couldn't really do much, as the housing market for students around the area were either occupied or way over my
This
budget.
is in Alabama.
As busy as I was with school, I was always a social
she's
butterfly at heart,
extroverted.
and had a pretty decent following
God,
on my social
Facebook.
media. I unfortunately didn't make any money online, but I did have about a couple hundred fans in my DMs and comment section.
Chat, I don't have any DMs asking if I have an OnlyFans. Look at her. She has all the DMs.
Asking if I had an OnlyFans. I, of course, didn't own one, as I was always hesitant in encountering weirdos
Yeah.
within the online world.
Rightfully so.
I really didn't want to run into the risk of being
That
recognized by any
too.
school colleagues
Yeah,
or
that's
relatives for that
too.
matter, considering the internet was a large place where anything could be shared or screen recorded nowadays. At the time
This was
that
4
this
years ago,
occurred,
so I don't know
I
if
was
a
extremely
TikTok
eager to make any
existed.
form
Wait,
of
I think it
income
did.
without having to deal with the hassle of working a regular job.
To be a
Which is why I
streamer.
ultimately decided to sign up for an OnlyFans account.
OnlyFans.
I decided to take a couple of provocative selfies of myself while wearing some outfits that I thought would be appealing to the rather large male audience I had accumulated through my years on social media. I even went as far to take self-portraits of myself in bed, using a professional camera I had owned from a while ago.
Oh my God, not the TikTok lighting.
I remember uploading the catalog of images on my profile while promoting it on my Instagram story.
Forever
Just to
welcome
see
in.
if there was going to be any first-time buyers willing to see the other side of me. I made sure to hide the stories from my close relatives,
Okay, so
especially
she can
my
hide
mother,
it.
as I didn't want them knowing I wanted to explore the mature side of myself, and that I wasn't solely depending on making a living using OnlyFans.
Built like a mini fridge.
I can recall it not even being 5 minutes yet, when I noticed a notification on OnlyFans. I then refreshed my homepage, only to see that I got my first paid subscriber. If I
The
had to
first
be honest, I was
subscriber.
quite thrilled at the notion that anyone would be interested in me. Or should I say my looks. I remember the user then sending a message
Hey,
saying,
beautiful.
"Hey, beautiful. Happy to be your first OnlyFans sub."
Wait, it is her landlord, isn't it? Yeah, right? Static said it too. It is her landlord, isn't it? Fucking creeper.
I typed.
Thank you. Let me know if you'd like to see
Oh
more.
no!
The user then playfully requested
Pervy
for several
Sage.
provocative pictures of
It says
myself
Pervy
wearing lingerie.
Sage.
I felt a little uncomfortable hearing such a request, but I knew in the back of my head that this was going to
Her
take
first
some getting
subscriber
used
was
to,
me.
especially if I wanted to pursue a potential career on OnlyFans. Regardless of who this person was, I decided to take the requested pictures in front of a mirror using
She
my
kind of
cell
built like a
phone.
mini fridge for real.
I then uploaded the images onto my laptop and charged
How much?
the man a lump sum of $50
How much is that?
per
Only 50
photo.
bucks?
The man then responded,
I feel like that's a little.
"I want to be your one and only customer
Ew!
forever." I obviously found this a bit alarming, but casually brushed it off by telling the user I was going to go study and that I was going to catch him later. I then made my way to the kitchen to make some instant noodles while resuming the dreadful exam preparation I had procrastinated
change
on
clothes?
since the beginning of the day. I remember studying for at least a good 2 hours straight before calling
That's not
it a
enough.
night.
At
I
least
then
5
headed
hours
back to
minimum.
my bedroom, only to notice my laptop was still open and
Uh-oh.
wanted to see if there was any further activity with my OnlyFans
Notifications,
account.
right?
That's when I saw at least 100 unread
100?
messages coming from the same user
The same
that I had
user,
interacted
though.
with earlier.
That's
The
creepy.
messages varied from things
Ew,
like,
where
where
are you?
to, hello, I've been waiting for you for hours now,
Pervy Sage.
to really aggressive messages
Answer me,
like,
ho.
answer me, ho.
Oh, what?
This left me completely dumbfounded, as the user then seemed apologetic towards the end of the
I'm
messages.
getting angry
as
cheek.
if he
What does that
suffered
mean?
From bipolar disorder.
What does angry cheek mean?
I honestly contemplated on blocking this guy.
Yeah, block
but
him.
As I scrolled through the messages, I noticed one of them offering to pay me $100 if I sent a video of myself crying on camera.
Why would anyone pay $100 to see someone else crying on camera? Listen, I'm not judging kinks, but it's kind of weird.
I couldn't tell if this guy was joking or if it was some sort of sick f*** of his, but I decided to oblige as I really needed the money.
$100 though?
I began to screen record a video of
Oh my
myself using my
God.
webcam and began to force myself to cry
Oh my
by
God,
thinking of sad
that is
things like the death
so-
of my grandmother or the divorce of my parents and how my dad left my mom hanging to be a deadbeat dad.
Holy shit, the lore is
I
deep.
eventually stopped the filming and sent the video to the user
She
for
did
a
it.
price tag
She
of
did it.
$100. About 5 seconds later, the user immediately sends another odd request, as if he disregarded my last video and was craving for more. The message read, "Can you stick your finger down your throat and vomit in a bucket?
Ew!
I'll pay you another $100.
What the hell?
What the hell
What
is
a freaking
exactly?
weirdo.
This seemed extremely off-putting, but I felt as if I was obliged to do so, considering I was an extremely broke student and needed any kind of funds I could get my hands on. I decided to grab a large bowl from
She's
my
do-
kitchen
she's
cabinet
actually doing
while
it.
contemplating my conscious decision to do such a
No,
thing.
it's not worth it, girl.
As I
Turn
sat
it
in front
off.
of my laptop, I held the bowl with one hand and stuck
Ew.
my index finger down my throat with the other, while
Yuck!
simultaneously trying to regurgitate the instant noodles I had just eaten.
Why is it so green? Do you use salad or
I
something?
then sent the user
Panera
the video
bread?
with a price tag of $100.
That's not worth it. I would have charged
Again,
$300 for
the
that
user
chat.
instantly replies in a matter of seconds with another odd request. His message read, "Cut a handful of your hair off using a knife, and I'll pay you $200.
Oh, that's not bad.
I felt pretty hesitant.
I feel like if you cut your hair with knife for $200, it's much better than recording yourself crying or to vomit. Yeah, I think that wasn't bad. It's not bad, right?
First, but as I digested the odd request,
That's
I thought
normal.
It would be
I
an easy
mean,
$200,
not
considering
normal,
how I
but
always
not
wanted to get a
disturbing.
haircut anyway. I responded with a stern, sure, BRB, as I went into the kitchen to grab a knife from one of the kitchen drawers. As I stared into the reflection of the blade, I began second-guessing myself, as the thought of sadistically tearing my hair off with a blade seemed very
Not
inhumane.
really. In my
I
opinion, not that
unfortunately
bad.
allowed my stupidity to completely overcloud my judgment, as I ended up biting on a piece of cloth while raising my hair with one hand and then slowly cutting
wait,
it
the
off with
entire
the knife
hair?
on my other hand.
I thought he said one
I remember
strand.
trying my best not to make too much noise from my repugnant decisions, as the sheer distress from the back and forth carving of my hair left my scalp throbbing.
Wait, why did she cut it all off? He's just asking for a strand. What is she doing? Right? He asking for a strand of hair. Why did she cut everything off?
Excruciating manner.
She doesn't know the market.
I then shouted,
There's your stupid video, you sick freak. You happy
Elio,
now?
welcome in. Ellie, welcome in.
as I gestured a hand of my detached hair. That's when the user immediately responds with another sadistic request, saying, "Now, cut your finger off for another
Don't do
$200." I immediately dismissed the user using profanities and vulgar language.
Yeah,
basically
ban
telling
him.
him to go F himself.
I mean,
as I
block him.
simultaneously block his account.
Yes.
I then went into the washroom and began to sit in the bathtub to reflect on my bizarre
Right,
decisions
I knew
and
where that was
possessed
going,
me to
though.
do such a thing. I could then hear my phone vibrating on the bathroom sink several times. As I got out of the shower,
he in the house?
I checked my phone, only to see the notifications were from a user with the same profile name on Instagram. I could tell that the user was obviously a stalker, as he had no
He's
followers,
following 100
but
people,
was
though.
following at least a couple hundred others. I then opened the user's messages, only to see screenshots and video footage of what transpired within our OnlyFans interaction.
Wait, is that
As I
legal?
scrolled up,
Can you actually screenshot stuff from OF? And I don't know. I don't know the rules for that.
a lengthy message from
Oh
the
my
user
God.
asking me to bring a knife to an undisclosed location if I didn't want him to send this to anyone
No,
else.
girl.
Almost like I was getting taunted and blackmailed
Like
at
blackmail,
the same
yeah.
time. I ended up accepting the user's messages and replying with
No,
a
just
firm,
ignore
I'm
him.
gonna sue you if you don't delete those images and videos.
He then responds with an image of my mother's Instagram and says, "Is this your mom's Instagram?"
Oh, shit.
I then
Mom,
replied,
I was trying to make money.
Don't do it! I'm begging you!
"Go to the park
Now.
Okay, fine.
Which one?
You win. I'm leaving right now, you freak!
That's when I tucked the knife underneath the band of my leggings and began to walk towards the
Why
park.
the leggings?
I then text the user for further instructions as I surveyed my surroundings of the park, only to see a homeless-looking individual
This
laying
guy's
on
a
a bench.
psycho.
That's when I get another text from the user saying, "Since you didn't want to cut your finger off, cut his, and I'll leave you alone."
No! Don't do it!
I then pulled out the knife and began to
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't care if someone threatened me to send news to my mom either. It's not really nudes. She wasn't even nude. She was just doing weird shit. Screenshot of her crying and throwing up. Like, okay, go ahead and spread it to my school. I don't care. I'm sorry, but like, I do not care.
approach the homeless man.
Oh no, is she
As I
gonna
could see,
do
he
it?
was completely passed out drunk.
I
from
don't
the
know if this
empty
is a true
alcohol
story. I
bottle
don't
laying
think so,
next to
and
the
I hope
bench he
not.
was
I hope
sleeping
this is
on.
not a real story.
As I cautiously approached the man,
I hope no one's
I began to elevate his pinky
psychotic.
in midair with one hand.
No,
while
don't do
raising the knife
it!
with my other
No,
hand.
not the pinky finger. He's
I
gonna
then
miss
swung
it.
the knife in one quick motion. That's when I ran back towards the main
Oh my
road
god,
as the
I
man
really
screamed.
feel for the homeless man. Like, he's just existing. And this freaking bitch. If it's news and still who cares, spread it to my mom. Well, a good mom would praise your work. Like, good job, daughter. Are those new boobs?
Screamed in agony.
And yep, she
I
runs like
eventually
me.
made it back to my place and began panting in distress and exhaustion without making it obvious to the other individuals in the household that I had initially stepped out.
Finger is important, chat. You need your finger. Your thumb is so important.
I then abruptly got a call on my cell phone. I was a little hesitant to answer the phone.
It's the same guy, isn't
considering
it?
I had not given out any personal information
my
to
God.
the user. As I pull out my phone, I can see that the call was
It's
surprisingly
a goofy ass
coming from my mom.
ringtone.
I answered the
Wow.
phone and said,
Hello? What the hell is wrong with you, Sarah? Why would you do that?
Mommy, I need money. Medical school ain't gonna pay for themselves, Mom.
Why? Have you freaking lost your damn mind?
I'm going virals, Mom.
Internet!
I'm going virals. Let's go. I'm going virals for real.
I was 22 years old and was always despondent from
It's
the lack
always
of
lack of job
offers I was
offers,
getting
huh?
online. Not
To
having
be
the
a streamer.
responsibility of a job drove me crazy for the
Be
latter
a
part of my
Vtuber.
post-graduation time off.
No one's
As
gonna
the lack
blackmail
of
you.
response from the dozens of job applications I had applied for online were either being neglected or probably in someone's spam
Relatable.
box. I wanted to make a steady income, which would have allowed me to find a place with my boyfriend John
They
and
have buggy
possibly move
eyes.
in together. I also wanted to prove to my parents that I was something they could genuinely be proud of, but they unfortunately weren't the most supportive, as I got the move out of my place vibes every time we interacted with each
Damn.
other. My boyfriend John was the only person in
Hey,
my life
what's that
was
hand on the
supportive.
boob? Hey, watch those hand. Those fingers are moving a little bit closer to territory that I don't think is, you know what I'm saying?
I was supportive of him as well,
Are they
as
gonna
John
do
went
only?
through a traumatic
What the
experience
fuck?
of dealing with his ex-girlfriend's death about a year or two ago. She apparently died from a brain tumor, which left her in a coma for the
I gotta unpack that. What the fuck was that animations? It looks like she was being exercised. Like,
latter part of their relationship. It was obviously a bitter pill for John to
yeah,
swallow,
he's need
but
therapy.
through time, he eventually came to terms with the loss and found some closure along the way.
Tentacle, yeah.
There was a time when John recommended that I use OnlyFans if I wasn't able to snatch a job within the next few months, as it was a great source of income according to what his ex made off of it, as I thought it couldn't hurt to show off my looks in exchange for a couple $100s.
Damn.
I remember taking a few
Oh my God,
self-portraits
her
of myself
builds.
while wearing the most seductive outfits
Is
I
that
could
the-
find in my wardrobe.
Bro, is that the most seductive outfit you can find in your wardrobe? It looks like you're wearing bikinis. A purple bikinis. It's like a neon purple bikinis.
I then made an OnlyFans and
Okay.
uploaded the images in hopes that I could capture the attention of any potential consumers from around the world. Several weeks later, my OnlyFans success had taken an unexpected turn,
Oh?
as I grew a pretty large following
Damn.
and was able to make a decent
Dream
amount of
come
income
true.
to suffice myself. There was this one user who was usually consistent in requesting
Let me see what it says. Please send more pics, baby. And send more videos to please send more pics, baby.
for my content through my DMs. I could honestly say that he or she was the most active on my page,
Damn, they're so
considering they were
active.
requesting for videos or photos almost every day. I felt as if I had established a strong rapport with this one individual, as we
Okay.
chatted often as I could in order to maintain a healthy relationship with that user. I began to feel slightly uncomfortable over time, as the user began requesting for weird things like a photo of myself with my foot behind my back.
Excuse
or
me?
replicate a murder scene in your bedroom using fake blood. I think it's hot when girls are covered in blood. It reminds me of my favorite movie, Gone Girl.
What the hell?
I like
found
how
it
they
weird
use the
that someone
same.
would get
They use the same voice actor. What the hell? From the previous video, they use the same line. Holy fuck. This is based on a true story, by the way. These are some true requests that people have received. Oh, maybe this guy is a BF asking for this? Oh, it could be the BF, right? The boyfriend. Yeah, Marcy cannot do OF since her belly button is stinky. Yep, that's the only reason why I can't do OF is because my belly button is definitely stinky. You're so right. What the
I found
hell?
it weird that someone would get off on these kinds of things, but me and my boyfriend both mutually agreed to take the high road and go ahead
Take the
with the
high
requests,
road.
considering the majority of my revenue was solely coming from this
Fake
one
blood.
particular person. As time went
You
on,
a hot boo.
the requests became more and more bizarre the longer we stayed
You
in
a hot boo.
contact. I remember the user requested if I could dye my hair black, or to start
emo
wearing more
queen.
darker shades of makeup while taking photos.
Emo queen.
It honestly felt as if I was
Oh,
playing dress
goth
up
queen,
for the
I
amount
guess.
of demands
Goth.
the user was asking for.
Yeah, what's she doing on the bed?
One of the most
Oh.
bizarre requests was a
You know what? He actually requested to have fake blood. So it looks like a murder scene on her bed. He did request that, so she went ahead and do that. This guy kind of cooking. No! Don't let him cook, chat.
daily video of myself running
Treadmill?
on a
What the
treadmill.
fuck?
It was almost as if I was getting paid to run, shower, and then take provocative
Okay,
photos
that's
each and
weird.
every day in exchange
Oh,
for X
oh,
amount of dollars.
Her outfit's black now.
This occurred for a couple of months, as
She
I've
gonna be
lost close
skinny?
to 30 pounds from the constant treadmill fetish
Wow,
the
she
user
lost
got
30
off on.
pounds.
It
Slay.
was getting to the point where I felt like I was beginning to lose my identity, so I stopped using OnlyFans and just occupied myself by staying away from my laptop and spending more time with my
Yeah,
boyfriend.
he's cooking.
I remember this one night, my boyfriend was in the shower while I was watching TV when I decided to check my OnlyFans account just to see if that weirdo
What
was
if it's
still
a
messaging
boyfriend?
me.
Wait, it could be the boyfriend. Remember the scene where, if you guys were here, a scene in the hospital where his ex-girlfriend basically had a brain tumor and passed away. She looked really goth. Like her hair is all black. She had black makeup on. Right? I think the boyfriend is requesting her to basically, because he suggested her doing OF too. That's it. That's it.
I didn't have my laptop with me at the time, so I decided to use
Oh,
my
this
boyfriend's
is a
laptop to log
tea.
in. As I opened up the site,
Oh,
I
that's
realized that my
him,
boyfriend
right?
surprisingly had an OnlyFans
OMG,
account
that's
that was
his
already
boyfriend.
logged in.
I knew it.
I then noticed he had the same username as the person that was messaging me
Yeah,
throughout all of
Megan's
these
number one
months.
fan.
That's when I closed the tab and unexpectedly saw a picture of John with his ex-girlfriend on his desktop
Okay,
wallpaper.
that is creepy. That's his ex-girlfriend who passed away from a brain tumor. That has a whole gothic look. Wow, that is creepy on another level. Yeah, can you just ask her to do this regular? I guess he just, I don't know why. I don't know why he can't just be like, hey, babe, do you feel gothic? I'm into goth girl. Like, do you want to wear makeup gothic, you know?
As I surveyed
That's
the portrait scattered
creepy!
around his room, I then realized that my boyfriend wasn't supporting my OnlyFans because he cared about me. He was doing it because he wanted me to look exactly
Oh my god,
like
look
his
at her
dead
tweaking.
ex-girlfriend.
She's tweaking. Did she die though? Oh, she didn't die. It's fine. Wasn't that scary? Right? It's just him being a freaking weird, but like, I don't think there was no body parts being cut. It was fine. Okay, last one, chat. Wait, no.
The
Third
story
one.
creeps me out.
Is
Just
he doing
thinking about
OnlyFans?
it.
Is he doing OnlyFans?
I find it
Ayo.
disturbing and just downright wrong on so many levels. It happened about a year ago when I was up late one night watching TV in my bedroom. I was feeling a bit lonely and decided to be a little snoopy as I lacked any female companionship due to quarantining for months since the global pandemic.
Okay, so this video was made 4 years ago, so it was around COVID time. That makes sense.
I obviously couldn't go out and meet girls like I used to, so I decided to resort to apps such as Tinder or Bumble. I unfortunately got tired of using such apps over time, as the rules of quarantining defeated the purpose of
guy's
potentially
cuts.
meeting
His
someone in
haircut.
person anyway. The lack of social interaction and inability to date was starting to get to me, which is why I decided to start entertaining the idea of
You
using
know,
OnlyFans.
I am sure that OnlyFans was probably really has the biggest peak during quarantine. I just assume, you know, because like everybody's quarantined, everyone's staying inside. You can't really do Tinder because you can't meet up, you know, because possibly getting sick. So yeah, I'm sure OF was peaking, no? Maybe TikTok.
I've seen my friends use OnlyFans in the past, so exploring such content wasn't a foreign thing to me. The time was roughly 1 a.m. when I decided to go on Instagram and scope out any random model that I thought would be worth spending a few $100s on. I remember coming across this one girl named Ava.
Ava.
She was petite and brunette,
Chat with
and
Ava.
of course had an attractive face, which were qualities I valued a lot when
Looks
looking
like
at
she
a
has
female at
lazy
first
eyes.
glance. I
She's got
decided to
lazy
check
eyes,
out her
chat.
OnlyFans from her Instagram bio and committed to subscribing on her page, just so I could see more exclusive content and hopefully make up for the lackluster night I was having. I obviously had to punch in
Ooh,
my
that
credit
card
card
though.
details, but was
Chat.
definitely not a
Right, write down that credit card right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
details, but was definitely not ashamed to do such a thing, as Ava's content looked pretty promising. That's when I decided to shoot her a message and perhaps request
For
for
free,
more raunchy
okay?
and seductive photos. I figured it couldn't hurt to shoot my shot. Ava surprisingly responded with stuff like,
Hey there, bet you're looking for some fun. What can I do for you, babe?
I ended up responding with, can you send me some hot pics to help make me
Is
not
that what
feel
people are
lonely?"
really writing?
About
Oh my
2
god.
minutes later, Ava sent me a photo with an unlock
Oh,
for
$50.
$50.
Okay.
I felt a little nervous, but decided to go ahead with the purchase, only to see what I had anticipated. Her exquisite face, in conjunction with her curvy and petite body, left me thirsty.
Why is she in such a neon bikinis? I have a question. It's like, where's everything so neon? I hate neon bikinis.
Wanting for more.
It's just not giving.
Over the next hour or so,
$300?
I spent approximately $300
Holy
on photos
fuck.
and video clips
That's not
of
even
Ava through
evocative.
the
It's
interactions
just-
we had through our DMs.
She has lazy eyes.
Let's just say I ended up sleeping pretty well that night, and definitely got my money's worth. The next morning, I decided to Google search more about Ava, just to see if I could potentially find
Are you
more
stalking
content
her?
of her
Okay.
online without having to
Of
pay
course,
for
of
more on her
course.
OnlyFans.
That's a
when
lot of
things
money,
took
I
a
know.
darker turn, and it completely changed the whole complexion of the
Chat,
story.
why would you spend $300 on an OF? Why you could just spend it on me? I'm just kidding.
I remember seeing an obituary of Ava as one of
Her
the
eyes
first
are
links on the
lazy.
Google search feed.
Oh fuck,
Decided
that
to
scares
click it
me.
and see if the obituary was legitimate.
Wait, she's dead?
After reading the obituary further, it was apparent that Ava had tragically passed away several weeks ago due to undisclosed reasons.
What?
A million questions started racing through my head.
Wait, a
as I
few
started
weeks
to
ago?
wonder who
Ew! That means he's been like tweaking to photo of a passed away person. Oh my
Who
god.
the hell was I talking
That
to?
is so wrong.
And how could she send me all of these photos
Obviously
and videos
someone
of
trying to
herself
use
as
her
she was
photos.
supposedly dead?
Maybe the killer.
As I dug a little deeper on Google, I found several articles stating that her own mother had been selling photos and videos of her deceased
wow,
daughter
that is so
to
fucked
gain
up.
profit off of her. I remember
So
getting
fucked
so
up.
many goosebumps, to the point where I legitimately thought I was going to throw up all over my computer desk. I've since never used OnlyFans.
That's good.
As the thought of talking to a stranger who is deceased
Yeah,
but
that
has
is
their
really
account
creepy.
ran by another individual freaks me out just
That's
thinking
kinda-
about it.
That's very
Either way,
morally wrong
this
as
story
well.
is downright terrifying, as I pray the mom seeks professional help and hopefully finds some closure in the passing of her daughter.
Yeah. You know, she's trying to like get some money. She's trying to get some more money from her passed away daughter. True OnlyFans horror story number 4. Last one, chat.
This all took place in my home country of Brazil.
Oh, Brazil.
My buddy had a friend called Antonio. I never met the guy personally.
I want pizza
but everyone
now.
who had told me he was a really funny guy. And like most funny guys who are at least a little bit handsome, he was very popular with the ladies. One day, Antonio
I don't think
told
he
my
looks
buddy
like he's
that he had
popular with the
organized a
ladies
date
at
with a
all.
model. A model, said my friend. You're serious? Anyone I've heard of?
Yeah, that's not a Brazilian accent, right?
Said Antonio, who handed his phone over to my friend. Open on the screen was
He
an
looks really
OnlyFans
sad.
page. The girl whose page it was didn't have that many images or videos uploaded, so it was obvious her page was pretty new. But my
Oh?
friend did recognize her immediately.
Who is she?
She was a local woman called Isabella. Young and absolutely gorgeous. One of the best looking girls he had ever laid his eyes on.
Sounds so
In his words,
creepy.
She had a booty like an onion. It'd make a grown man cry.
Jack, have you ever seen a booty that is so good you start crying? I don't think so. A booty like an onion. I don't know.
Antonio had met her in our small town.
Okay,
and
so they
asked
met
her for
up.
her contact information. Instead, she took his phone and opened up her OnlyFans page.
Okay.
From there, he became a follower. He sent her a DM and asked her out on a date. She said no at first.
Can you ask
but
people on
Antonio was
OnlyFans to a
persistent and
date?
kept
I
asking.
don't know if that's true.
Rather than
Possible.
reply using words, she sent back an image which was hidden behind a
Ooh,
paywall.
$50.
The equivalent of
Gotta
about
pay up.
$50. Antonio was a pretty wealthy young man, so, curious as he was, he paid the money
said,
and opened the message
$50,
without a
I
second
can
thought,
afford it.
hoping for a raunchy picture.
It's not a raunchy picture,
The
isn't
image
it?
was just text, a time and address for their date. It also said to bring
Money to pay for dinner.
dinner.
$50.
Like
Yeah,
I said,
that is
my friend
not in
knew
this
who Isabella
economy.
was, and knew that she already had a boyfriend, a mean
Oh.
Philodomai called Davy. Davy
Davy.
rolled with some really bad dudes. Was into some shady shit.
Ooh, she got
and you
the
could
bad
tell just
boy
by looking at the
boyfriend.
guy that you wouldn't want to mess with him.
Yeah.
My buddy warned Antonio to be careful, to cut contact with Isabella, and not to go on this date with her.
Yeah, okay, so she has a boyfriend that is like really a bad boy. Antonio's gonna die. You know what? But you know what? It's worth it, I guess.
Antonio didn't listen, since Isabella told him that she was single, and that her and this Davy guy must have broken up.
She's single.
That evening, Antonio got dressed up and drove off on his moped to meet
Okay.
Isabella.
Moped?
Now, my friend, being a man of culture, was of course a little bit curious himself about Isabella's online uploads.
Okay.
He decided to sign up on the site and became a follower
Okay,
of
he
hers
paid for
himself.
the fee.
It was
monthly.
only cheap to do so, the equivalent of a couple of bucks a month. Well, there weren't many pictures and videos to look through, but Isabella was clearly focusing on quality over quantity, and my friend
It's
wasn't
loading.
disappointed with what he
Why
saw.
she looks like a ghost?
He logged off around 11 p.m. and went to bed. That next morning, my friend sent Antonio a message, asking him how things went with
I
Isabella.
think he died. Did he die?
No reply. Antonio usually
Oh, I'm guessing there's cannibalism in this case. Antonio is going to meet her BF thinking it is her. What is continuity? This man is wealthy and has no sense of self-preservation. I mean, when you have so much money, right? You don't care. Yeah, he's gonna die. There's
replied to
cannibalism.
his messages really quickly. Maybe things had gone well after all, and he was still with her. He waited until the afternoon. Still no reply.
Oh.
Not that unusual for Antonio. But maybe he was just getting a little afternoon delight.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh my
The
god,
days
Antonio went
passed,
missing.
and
I
there
mean,
was
we're not
still no
surprised,
word from
right? We're
Antonio.
not surprised at all.
My friend checked in with everyone who knew him, including his boss at work.
Eat the rich.
Nobody had seen him
Literally
since
eat
that
the
night.
rich.
People were starting to get worried. The
Or
authorities seemed to
someone
have
has
little
his
interest in helping
phone.
find him, saying that Antonio was a grown man and had probably gone off traveling or something by himself
Yeah,
since his moped
sure.
was never found.
His moped was never found.
Isabella continued posting on her account as normal, and since my friend was still following her, he decided to send her a DM, asking if she knew where Antonio
They
was.
never met up, right?
If so, was he alright? Instead of text, she sent back an image,
Jesus,
which he could
50
unlock
bucks to just
for
say
50
yes or
bucks.
no?
No words, just an image hidden behind a paywall.
Is it Antonio's dead body?
My pal didn't have a lot of money, but something told him he had to open it. He paid the money and opened the picture.
It's a
It
grave.
was a photo of a dirty shovel in close-up. The hand gripping it was obviously male. Behind it, he could make out a hole in the earth, large enough to fit a human inside.
Is that Antonio in the
It was
hole?
captioned, "What do you think?"
Disturbing.
My friend didn't want to believe it, but in his heart, he knew what had
Oh
happened.
my god. Shadow, welcome in. What am I watching? We're watching 4 true OnlyFans horror stories animated. This is kind of true crime, right? It's kind of true crime.
And he knew he'd never see Antonio
Because
again.
Antonio was missing.
He tried desperately to get Isabella to reply to him via DM, but that was the last he ever heard from her too. She continued uploading content to her account, but both she and Davy left town
That's
shortly
her
after
bad
Antonio
boyfriend.
vanished.
Baddie boyfriend.
Surely not a coincidence. It
They
seemed like both
bury
of them were in
Antonio?
on this together after all. So, what happened that fateful night? Scenario 1. Davy was using Isabella and forcing her to post images of
Okay.
herself online so he could make a little money.
Possible theory.
She was the face, and he was the one behind the messages, and lured Antonio.
But why
into a trap.
Antonio?
Scenario 2. Davy didn't know that Isabella was using the site, and when he learned that she was actually going on a date with someone, he flipped.
That's more possible theory.
Maybe Isabella, realizing that Antonio dressed well and must have had some money in his pocket, targeted him specifically. Maybe they held him up, and he decided to fight
Like
back.
blackmail?
Maybe they planned to do away with him from the beginning, and take whatever money he brought in his pockets. Investigators did very little to help. Davy
Are we
had
gonna
ties
find
to
out
the
if
buzz,
Antonio
so it's
is
possible he
alive or
intentionally
not?
brushed everything under the rug, and told him and Isabella to skip town. Several months came and went, with neither Davy nor Isabella being seen around town at all. My friend continued to keep an eye on her page, hoping that a new clue would come to light.
No, she's just posting more
He
content.
thought that would be the end of it. Then, one night, he received a notification saying Isabella had uploaded a new photo.
Oh my god, is this
He
Antonio
logged
dead
in to
body?
check what it was. It was
Is it
an
50
image
bucks?
sent to all of her followers, titled
My final post. Nani?
He opened it.
The fuck?
It was a blurry picture of Isabella in a dark, wooded area. Her eye was black, her face cut, and she looked absolutely terrified, her hands up near her face as if she was trying to protect herself. There was no
What does that
caption
say
to
on the
explain
forehead?
image.
What does that
Both the
say?
picture and her account were deleted shortly afterwards.
Oh.
Davy hasn't returned to our town since, and for our sakes, I hope he never does.
Oh. That's supposed to be injuries? Okay, so I guess the end, we don't know where the heck is Antonio's. He's missing, and possibly his girlfriend probably going to die.